Angela Taylor has counseled a lot of military members. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Definitely.
Thank you. So Aaron Alexis was not clinically diagnosed with PTSD. His dad says that this is what he has. Is it common? Because it really seems like he had two sides. The one we hear from friends, the one maybe his family saw, the one now America's learning about. Is that common to live that way if somebody has PTSD?
It can definitely be common to live that way. I think a lot of people that are experiencing those PTSD symptoms, they don't want everybody to know, so they put on this mask and they act a certain way in a crowd or with their friends or even their family to kind of conceal what they're going through. They don't want to feel weak in a lot of ways and feel like maybe that does make them weak, even though, you know, what they're experiencing is a direct result of what they've experienced.
So if it's a mask, does that mean that they can kind of control it in a way?
Some of them can, actually a lot of them can. Most people realize there's some level of something going on that's not right. Some people can't. Some of them feel like they're in this world and they're still living that event in a lot of ways. But most of them know there's something off and there's something not right going on with them.
So what are the signs of PTSD?
Flashbacks are a big one, reliving that event over and over. Avoidance of situations that even may subtly feel like the same situation they were in before. They do have a lot of symptoms of kind of the depression and anxiety. It mimics that in a lot of ways too. So panic attacks, that sort of thing, feeling really sad, a lot of suicidal ideation, that sort of thing.
So if Aaron Alexis went for help last month, does that mean then that these folks who suffer from this, that they can kind of recognize it a bit and maybe look for help on their own?
Definitely, yeah, and hopefully a lot of them do, and they want to break out of their head. I mean, they're so caught up in what's going on in there and they just can't break free from it. So a lot of people do reach that breaking point where they say, I just need to find something.
Well, I think one of the things that people have been saying is, why didn't somebody put all these pieces together before now? Why didn't somebody say something or do something? But what do you say and what do you do?
Well, I think a lot of people are scared. They kind of tiptoe around the situation and they don't want to feel like they're telling somebody they're crazy or anything like that. So that's pretty normal. I think the best thing that you can do is ask questions and listen and be there for that person. So really kind of ask them what's going on in their head, no matter how scary it might be, you know, and listen and, you know, be a support system for them and offer to help in any way that you can.
But are we as a society, are we set up for something like this? I mean, you can't pick up the phone and say, you know, my brother or sister, somebody's acting nuts, can you come help me? I mean, you can't necessarily do that unless they're acting violent.
Right.
So what do we do?
Hard thing. That's the hard thing, is that, you know, unless they are suicidal, you can't commit somebody or make them go get treatment. The best thing that you can do is talk to that person about the impact that it's having on their lives and maybe even your life if you're directly affected with that, and letting them know that there's a way out, that there is help for that, and that they don't have to live in that world forever, that there's a, you know, freedom from it.
Well, let's talk about that freedom. How do you get that? Just through treatment, through talking, through medication? What's the course of treatment?
You know, I think initially talking about it, and then maybe medication in the long run, but really the talking part is the big thing. So finding a good therapist is super important that can listen and help you retell your story, because the more you tell your story, the more it loses power and it becomes a story rather than something that you're currently living in and experiencing. And you get to free those emotions that you're trying to kind of keep trapped in there because you're so scared of them and worried that you're just going to stay there.
Right.
So you get to kind of experience those and let them go.
But there is hope and there is help out there.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that's the really important message, is that, you know, you can get to the other side of this. It's just having the courage to dig into it, which is really scary for a lot of people.
You have to step forward and do it. Angela, thank you so much.
No problem.
As
I'm
always,
glad to be here.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.